Welcome back to the Voice Weekly Recap with Sean and Chris. My name is Sean.
And I'm Chris.
We had a pretty good week this week. I'm excited to talk about it. I wanted to mention before we get into the recap of the show, last year, Chris, do you remember contestants named the Shields Brothers?
Yes.
I supported them on 5 things, not knowing that they were going to get cut in battle rounds, which unfortunately for them, they already knew. So they were very happy to receive the new fan, but I think they were just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to make it. But the Shields Brothers still release covers and original music on their YouTube page. I will make sure to link it in the info. And something they made me aware of on Twitter, which by the way, I follow them on Twitter, and every night of The Voice, they do the Voice drinking game, where they come up with 10 rules each week that you're supposed to drink during. And like, for instance, they needed an extra rule on Monday. And so I tweeted to them that every time Carson Daly makes someone explain a horrible thing that has happened to them, you have to drink.
Oh my God, it's like every person practically.
Monday night's show was like especially bad.
Yeah, it was.
It was like, and then my dad died. And Carson's like, tell me about that. Because I noticed last week that Carson is always like, hey, I heard that this horrible thing happened to you. Could you talk about it?
Tell me about that. I heard that was tough.
And I mean, I understand that's the way they tell the story, but watching Carson do that time after time after time, I'm like, doesn't that start to bug him that he just has to hear these really sad stories all day?
Yeah.
So anyway, the Shields Brothers every week before the show, they do a live, I think it's a Google Hangout, where fans of The Voice can come and talk about the contestants and get all fired up and ready for the show. So I will make sure that I link that along with their YouTube page down in the info, and make sure you check it out. They're really nice guys. So this week on The Voice, we had our first contestant this week was Michelle Brooks Thompson. She came out singing Proud Mary, which is, I think, the most known performance of this, of course, is Tina Turner. It is a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival, but the version that everyone seems to know is the Tina Turner version, and Michelle Brooks Thompson did the Tina Turner version.
Yes.
She was energetic.
Oh, yeah. And I thought she had like kind of a gospel feel in her voice the way she was doing it, too. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, she was a great way to open the week, especially since last week they were, for some reason, opening the show with someone who didn't even make it. I was very confused. This week they opened it with a big voice, big woman. I'm just going to say. She was a big woman.
Yeah.
I actually wrote BBW in my notes. And Adam and CeeLo turned around pretty early, and then Christina, for some reason, waited all the way till the end. She just wanted to get in for the fight, I guess. And yeah, I really liked her. I gave her a 5. She was one of only... Oh, actually, I did give out 3 5s that night, so she was the first one.
Yeah, I gave her a 4, but I'm still learning the system. I think I'm overly critical because I look at my numbers for people. I'm like, wow, I was really harsh.
Sometimes I think about my 5 as like I was just completely floored by them and like wowed, and then other times I assign someone a 5 because I want to see them in the final, even if I don't think that their skill that they're showing right there would guarantee that they get to the final. I want to see them in the final, so I give them a 5.
Okay.
So I guess sometimes I'm like hoping that I'm predicting a rise from that person. Yeah, I have an example I'm thinking of for later in the show.
Yeah, I like to see her go far. She was really good. I really enjoyed that performance.
And she has a family, and they were all very happy, and it was adorable. I like seeing like the kids of young parents get really excited to see mom or dad trying out in that green room that they have to wait for them so that they're not in the audience.
Yeah.
Making a big racket or crying when their mom or dad doesn't make it.
Right.
So yeah, I liked her, gave her a 5, and I don't know why Christina stayed out of that until the end, but it may have cost her Michelle from her team because Michelle went with Adam, who was the first to turn around.
Right.
Also, I really like Adam. There were some people who I was really glad ended up on Adam's team this week specifically. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Second contestant up this week was Diego Val. He's from Peru. I have fans of my YouTube channel who are from Peru. I don't know if they'll be listening to this, but that's kind of fun.
Absolutely.
And he came out with one of those sob stories. Poor guy. He had. Do you want to do your medical analysis part?
He was hospitalized with a disease I never heard of.
Okay.
That's how rare this one's got to be. Cause I wrote it down like I don't even know what, but it's a disease that ate away his hip bone, so he couldn't walk.
Yeah, it was like his bones were disintegrating in his body.
Yeah, that was like terrible.
So he was on crutches for years, and now he's fine.
Yeah, maybe they gave him hip replacements.
They didn't really talk about how he recovered. I was kind of curious.
Yeah, the only thing they mentioned was that his grandmother gave him the guitar to play, and he was hooked.
And suddenly he could walk.
He's like, yeah, I got a guitar, I can do this.
It was a Christmas miracle. I don't know what it was, but he came out and sang Animal, which is a song by Neon Trees that I really like, and he did kind of what I thought was a pretty cool version of it. I've heard acoustic versions of it, including one by Neon Trees, but he didn't do one like one that I'd heard. It impressed me. I gave him a 4, and I believe CeeLo was the only one to turn around for him. But
yes,
a turnaround is a turnaround, so he ended up on CeeLo's team.
Yeah, I gave him a 3. I liked how he did it in like half English, half Spanish. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, he did.
Yeah, because you can see him, like, especially when it went to Adam, he was in the middle of singing, like, all of a sudden you realize something perk up, like, he's doing it in 2 languages.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was really cool.
Sometimes putting your own little unique spin on it to make it you is what catches those coaches' attention.
Yeah.
Like the mariachi singer. They could tell he was authentic.
So I think that's what got CeeLo to turn around, too, was like that, because I think he kind of liked that idea about him of how he can be versatile in a couple different ways like that. And so that really kind of got him, I think.
Yeah, I like the auditions that you can hear different elements of one person's talent. Like, typically it's just something like the guy can sing like this, he can sing falsetto, he can hit low notes or whatever. This guy is like, well, I can sing in Spanish, so I might as well throw it in there because it's something I can do.
Right.
And that's a valuable talent. So next up was Susanna Shuffle, or I actually didn't write down her name because when they pronounced it, I didn't know how to spell it, and now I'm seeing it, and now I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think it's Schofel.
Okay. And she's from Austin, Texas, which doesn't give me anything about with that last name or how it would be pronounced, so that's unfortunate. But she was a singing teacher. Are you noticing a trend with singing teachers on this show? There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a decent amount.
It's a lot of teachers who are like, I've watched students succeed and go on to great things, and I've never done it myself.
Yeah, it's like, I want my turn. I was like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
like,
for some people it's nice. For some people it's kind of a harsh awakening.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a reason you didn't actually make a career out of that. Sorry.
Right. And then my thing is with that, too, is you're a music teacher. Like, some of these people are like singing coaches who come on. Mm-hmm. And, like, my biggest fear is the singing coach who comes on who doesn't make it. And then I'm like, what does that do for business?
Right. Like, because, oh, you were the one that was on The Voice and you didn't make it.
So I'm going over here. Like, that'd be me.
So Susanna sang Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. And she had something in her voice that as soon as she started singing, I actually immediately thought that Blake would turn around because she had, like, I wouldn't call it country, but it was just like something about her voice that I thought would appeal to Blake. But it was actually Adam who turned around almost immediately, and then Blake didn't wait. Blake waited all the way until the end of her song practically to turn around.
Yeah. I thought it was a good rendition of the song. I thought it sounded a lot like it to a point, but there were some different things in there I really enjoyed.
Yeah, there was nothing about it that really made her stand out for me. I gave her a 3, just middle of the road. I just as soon as I heard her, I was like, if she's going to be on someone's team, I hope it's Blake, because he might be able to do something with that I will then like her voice.
Right.
And I did. I called it early, and I was right. She ended up going with Blake, even though he'd waited till the end to turn around.
Yep.
Sometimes I just get it completely right.
Oh yeah, I love that film. The one night I was tweeting and I was like 5 for 6 or something, like with guessing coaches. Yeah, I definitely thought Blake was a good fit for her.
Yeah,
I'm really happy with that decision.
Certain contestants, I can just be like, well, whoever gets her, that person is good. Whoever they go with will be fine. But then there are other contestants that I'm like, this is a Blake person, or this is an Adam person. You can just, for some reason, even from my couch, I can tell who belongs with who.
Yeah.
So after Susanna, there was a run of two people who both went to Blake. They defaulted to Blake. Michaela Page, a 16-year-old from Boca Raton, and Ryan Jurovic. Information unknown, according to the Wikipedia page.
Yes. Yeah, that he was even faster than Michaela Page. It was just like, oh, done. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see them in battle rounds. No real information to garner. So after those two, quickly, was Des Duran. He sang a Hall & Oates favorite, Sarah Smile, which as soon as he started playing it, I started smiling. I was like, I can't believe he's playing Hall & Oates. And I really liked it. I ended up giving him a 4.
I gave him a 3, but I thought he had like a mellow tone in his voice, which was kind of cool. Blake turned around pretty quick for him. Then Christina turned around. CeeLo turned around. And actually, the interesting thing, too, is that he was a season 2 failure originally.
Yeah.
And he came back, and he did way better.
It was very clear. I don't remember him trying out in season 2, but they showed clips from last year. And they encouraged him to come back. So he did. He actually... Was he the one who moved to L.A. for last year?
Yes.
He moved to L.A. to audition last year, and he didn't make it. And instead of just going home to Louisiana, which is where he's from, he just decided to stay in L.A. and try and do what he came there to do anyway. And I don't think he really succeeded in any real sense, or he wouldn't have been auditioning for the voice again. But obviously it has paid off in some way, because he got 3 of them to turn around. And spoiler alert, he ended up on Christina's team.
Yes.
That's not bad.
Oh, not bad at all.
I loved when Blake turned around and had that huge reaction. He was like, oh my gosh, I know you.
Yeah, everybody's over there like, what are you, nuts?
The audience probably has no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, and he like recognized him immediately. That was great.
They were like, is this your nephew or something? What's going on?
Yeah. And then of all the things, Blake is like, I know who you remind me of. You remind me of Slater from Saved by the Bell. I was like, dude, what are you doing? That's not a sales pitch. It's like, no, Elvis. I'm sorry.
I think he overcorrected with Elvis.
Yeah, me too. And then they're talking about how incredible his voice is. Like, oh, your voice is incredible. Your voice is incredible. And I'm sitting there like, my voice is incredible too. Just like, so like.
Yeah, he wasn't a 5 for me. He was good. I think he's probably I think he has that X factor.
Yeah.
He's not the best singer in the competition, but he probably has something that some of the better singers don't have.
Right.
Which is that gorgeous smile.
Yes, that all the girls have been going crazy for.
I think he actually picked Christina because last year, when he tried out, she told him, I wish I would have pressed my button.
Yeah.
And there's probably that's probably all he's been thinking about for the last 12 months. Like, I could have been on Team Christina.
Right. And now he's got the opportunity.
Yep.
Why would you say no?
So he took it.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. So let's talk about VJ Rosales a little bit.
Yes.
This guy was like the cutest little nerd guy. Like, he was just kind of adorable. And for some reason, he decided to sing Forget You, the PG-friendly version of CeeLo's song.
Which you covered before, right?
Yes, I have a drum cover. I will have to link that. And CeeLo didn't really care for it.
Nobody cared for it. Not even me. I gave him a 1. I gave someone a 1.
It was so sickeningly sweet, and there was so much going on. Like, he just wanted to show how many runs he could do and how many high notes, and it just wasn't, everything about it was wrong.
Yeah, in so many ways. I think the only good thing was the fact that he wore a bow tie, which I gave him bonus points for.
Nice. And he still only ended up with a 1?
He still got a 1.
Yeah, I liked him, and he seemed like a really nice guy, but he just didn't pick his talent, how to display his talents correctly.
Yeah, especially for that song, because CeeLo just has a way of getting the right spots and the right time to just hit it quick, and he's back to where he needs to be. And he was like gung-ho the whole way.
Yeah, Christina kind of was trying to describe to this contestant how CeeLo does it, and CeeLo's just like, give me a microphone.
Yeah, he walks up there and sings it with them, and that's like the highlight of this kid's night.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, CeeLo's performing. And then CeeLo does the non-PG version first.
Right. I love that they swear on this show with pretty much no abandon. Yeah. Reckless abandon.
And they blurted it out. I was like, I know a version he sang. And then you saw him go to the normal version that he's supposed to do for TV.
So that was fun. And I mean, this contestant, although he didn't make it, he's got a story to tell for years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the time I tried out for The Voice, I sang CeeLo's song, and then he sang it with me. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's all you need. I'd be happy with that.
Following VJ's disappointment, we had Alexis Marceau. I think that's how I'm going to pronounce her French last name.
I think that's right.
And she sang another Fleetwood Mac song. It seemed, I don't want to blame this entirely on Glee, but there's totally a Fleetwood Mac revival going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. I like Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And she sang Go Your Own Way, and the only person to turn around was CeeLo. As soon as she started, like, she was one of those people who the first 10 seconds I was like, oh, I don't think anyone's going to turn around. And CeeLo did. No one else did, but I gave her a 2, and I said she had a rough start. She was not great on her high notes. She got better at the end, but I don't really like her.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I said beginning, middle, a little better, and then end, much better. So,
but I mean, you got to be right there. I can't believe she made it with that audition.
Yeah, I put her as like a 2/3, because I was just like, Maybe it was a sob story that made me want to give her a 3 more.
I'm sure there were people who didn't make it, who have been watching this back, who have seen contestants like her who got through, that are just like, now why in the world?
Yeah, because there's been some really good ones that have not made it.
I'm sure there are tons of good ones that haven't made it that they just cut entirely out of the show for time.
Yeah. So next we had a run of 3 quick, like 10-second clips where we had Sam Jones, Laura Vivas, and here we go, Layla Broussard,
yeah,
who respectively went to Adam, Christina, and Blake.
One of those one judge turnarounds.
Right. Real quick performance, didn't get much out of it. So we'll have to see what they have in battle rounds.
The last one was singing a Beatles song, and I was just like, oh, I want to hear it, but they only played 5 seconds of it.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens. But then up next was Brandon Mahone, who sang I Wish It Would Rain, a 17-year-old from Chicago, Illinois, who, if I'm not mistaken, he moved to Indianapolis because of gang problems in Chicago.
That's right, yes.
Which, on the air, they let through gangbangers. I didn't know you could do that.
I don't know.
I was like, well, they like people say that on TV.
I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, and then I thought he hit the high notes pretty well. Didn't really have too much pitch problems. I gave him like a 4/5. I thought he did really well.
Yeah, I gave him a 4. I said he's one of those people who I think is just a natural talent. He doesn't have a 5 because I don't feel like he's really pushing himself, but he's only 17.
Yeah, he's really young.
For his age, he came out swinging, and he sounded really good.
Yeah.
Adam turned around really early. CeeLo was almost immediately after him, and then Christina was a little bit later. And I was rooting for him to go with Adam just because of the way he sang. I was like, I think that's in Adam's wheelhouse, and he did. He did end up picking Adam, so go me.
Yeah.
After Brandon, we had Jordan Pruitt, 21-year-old from Loganville, Georgia. He's one of the... How many times has this happened? This must be like the second or third time that the only person to turn around was Christina. And she turned around. I went back and watched it less than 30 seconds.
Oh, wow. Is that fast?
It was that fast. And he sang a song called The One That Got Away, which, oh, it's a Katy Perry song. That's why I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
I know a couple Katy Perry songs. Apparently not this one. And he sounded really good. Like, really good. I couldn't believe that no one wanted to fight him on, or fight Christina on this. I guess they just were like, okay, Christina has it.
Yeah.
When she's the first one to turn around, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. The three people turn around and Christina doesn't, so when the opposite happens, they just let her go.
They're just like, oh, let her have it. Well, this season, maybe they're thinking, I'll just steal her. I'll steal that one from her later.
Right, which we need to talk about at some point, because they've been hinting at this all 3 weeks.
I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm assuming it can't happen until after battles. I think it would only make sense after half of them get knocked out,
Yeah.
So anyway, I gave this kid a 5 because his natural talent was just phenomenal. But I also wrote that he seems like he's kind of dumb. Just when he was talking, I was just like, this guy seems like he's not all there. And then Carson asked him, if Christina turns around, what are you going to do? And he said, I might start crying.
Yeah.
And then no tears.
Nothing.
Hold on a second. What? Oh, Jordan Pruitt's a girl.
Uh-oh. Crap. Good call, Alicia.
Well, now I'm just going to have to leave that entire thing in. There's no one doing that. So thankfully my wife is sitting nearby and can correct me being an idiot. Jordan Pruitt's a girl.
And me, I did the same thing.
This is not the first time this has happened.
No, it's the second or third, right?
For some reason in my notes, this is what I wrote. Christina turned around in the first 30 seconds. Seems kind of dumb. Where were the tears? At no point did I say, like, this is a girl. I really need to start clarifying when we have a name like Jordan, whether it's a guy or a girl.
Oh man, yeah. Here I am with my notes. Like I'm looking at the important parts of my notes. Like, I was in Disney music, went on tour with a bunch of people, blah blah blah. If I had taken the time to actually read my paragraph, I put that she left her record music 1 year ago because she was stuck doing Disney music. I didn't even read it.
We're good at this. We're so good.
We're awesome.
So I gave her a 5. She's got great natural talent. But she didn't cry when Christina turned around. That's all I'm gonna.
Which disappointed me. I wanted to see tears.
Yeah, I know.
Is that bad?
I always want to see. I want to see happy tears. I don't want to see sad tears.
Yes, happy tears. No sad tears.
So closing the show, and I'm 99% sure that this is a woman.
I know it definitely is.
Was Teresa Griffin, and they'd been hinting at this performance like the last hour of the show.
Oh yeah.
And she was one of those. I'm just going to say big black women.
Yes.
She was a big black woman.
Yes.
42-year-old from Chicago, and she sang Someone Like You. My note that I wrote 30 seconds into the song was, Adele is overplayed, but I'm going to allow this one.
Yeah, this was amazing.
She brought the house down for all the right reasons. She was powerful and moving, and that song... There was an SNL sketch about how that song is the saddest song and it can just make anyone cry. And pretty much that's the way I felt when she was singing it.
Yeah, it was amazing. She got a 5 from me for sure. And the other thing I noticed about her, which I don't know if did you notice the size of her neck?
No.
You didn't notice like the little bit of folds in her neck down.
Are you concerned about her a medical condition?
Yes, I think she has a goiter, and I think she needs a thyroid test.
Okay.
But that's me.
Well, we'll have to let the NBC Voice Twitter account know that, I guess.
Yeah, she walked out. I went, goiter, thyroid test now. Instead of going, sing. But yeah, that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she was great. I gave her a 5 because this is one of those instances where I gave her a 5 because she has a huge amount of talent. However, she's not one of my 5s that is like, this is a 5 I want to see in the end of the competition because of my second note, which says, fact, a 42-year-old cannot win this.
Right.
Because I don't think a 42-year-old can win this.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. She's got a lot of spunk, too.
Yeah, she seems great, but we had a contestant last year who was something like 50. And she was a very similar kind of person. I actually think Teresa's probably a better singer, but I haven't heard that much from her. There was this contestant last year that was like this, and she did not seem her age. Her voice was amazing. All of her performances were super high energy, but you can't. It's like she's playing a different game. Like there are all these teenagers and 20-year-olds, maybe a couple 30-year-olds. And then there's a 50-year-old, and it's just not right. It's not the same playing field.
Yeah.
And it's not really fair. And hopefully in Teresa's case, unfortunately, I kind of hope that she'll get cut in battles because if she makes it to the live rounds, I think she'll just be done immediately. And that was the end of night 1. She brought the house down, and so did Jordan, the girl who sang before her. So that was a really solid ending for Monday night's show.
Yeah, I was really happy with that ending. I went upstairs and went to bed quite happy for that night.
You tucked yourself in and had little voice dreams.
I did. It was awesome.
So Tuesday night's show was an hour long, and we're getting down to the point now where it's very interesting watching people try out this late in blind auditions because it's almost like a different competition now.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that later towards the end of this hour when I put the judges are getting picky.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because some of these people could have been in an earlier day or earlier night or whatever and gotten more attention or more praise, I bet. But now that all of them have like half or 2/3 of their team filled, all they're doing in their heads is comparing them to the people that they've already put through.
Right.
So the bar has been raised and it's a much smaller, there's much more limited availability. So the first contestant of the night was Egyptian Sylvia Yacoub, which I don't know about you, but Sylvia does not sound like an Egyptian name to me.
No, not at all.
Also, she moved to Michigan from, like, I understand that if you're moving from Egypt to America, anywhere is, like, whether it's New York or Michigan, it's going to sound not nearly as exotic, but Michigan?
Right. I mean, if anything, you got to come up here to Pennsylvania.
Right. I mean, we got everything here. Actually, when Alicia and I were on our honeymoon, the guy who drove us from the airport to our resort had been to Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, awesome.
He'd been to like 3 or 4 places in the United States, and one of them was Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's great.
And that was like the weirdest, like, small world after all moment, even though that is a trademark of Disney.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know that Hershey, the chocolate company, has an amusement park in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Which you have to go to, by the way.
It has an amusement park.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And you got, of course, you have to go to the chocolate factory part 2 and go on the chocolate tour and buy the enormously huge candy bars that are oh so delicious.
Right. You got to do the whole thing.
Oh yeah, you got if you're a Reese's Cup fan, you got to buy the I forget what was it 2-pound Reese's Cups or whatever it is, or just like 1 pound cups each. Anyway, I'm getting distracted.
So Sylvia came out and she sang "Only Girl in the World," which I'm now finding out is a Rihanna song. I my wife says I can just ask her for everything.
Consult, please.
My first note is "Only Girl in the World." I don't think so. I did not think that she sounded fine. 3 of the judges turned around for her. They seemed way more excited about her than I was. I thought she sounded like everyone else, basically.
Yeah, I thought you could hear how nervous she was, especially in the beginning. She sounded better towards the end, but I only gave her a 3, and that was a tough 3 to give.
Yeah, I gave her a 3, just middle of the road. No real pros, no real cons.
Yeah.
And I think CeeLo saw, after he turned around, I don't think he knew why he turned around.
Yeah, did he really say anything about trying to get her?
Christina gave her pitch, and then Blake gave his pitch, and then the audience just started cheering for her to pick people, and Adam made a big deal out of getting everyone to shut up so that CeeLo could talk, and he's like, go ahead, and CeeLo just sits there and goes, I want you to be on my team.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And Adam's like got this shocked look on his face like, that's it? I told these people to shut up for that?
So, needless to say, she did not go with CeeLo. She was not swayed by his excellent sales pitch. She went with Team Christina.
Yes.
She looked like one of the people who would, if she had the choice, pick Christina, and she did.
Yeah.
The next guy out was I.J. Quinn, a 25-year-old who sang Virtual Insanity, which is an awesome song by Jamiroquai, who I really like. Jamiroquai, of course, is like kind of one person. It's the name for a person.
Right.
I really like the song. I have done a drum cover of it, so I'm going to link it in the info. But anyway, he said in his package that he had a really high voice, and it surprised people and something like that.
Because he sounds like a girl.
So when he started singing, I expected him to be really good at singing high notes, and then he wasn't.
He wasn't. And I was really disappointed with this cover.
Yeah.
But I took great pleasure in the fact that he was a hog farmer. It's like, that's cool. You're a hog farmer. I was like, maybe you can donate one of your pigs to Sean for Minecraft. That's what I thought, because I immediately thought of your pig in the house on the Hermitcraft server. I'm like, hey, the pig farmer.
Oh man, I should actually be a pig farmer.
Yeah, and then of all this, Christina said that she thought the pig farm was cute.
I know, and I'm sure in his head he's like, "What are you talking about, lady?"
Yeah, I was like, "What?"
It's like, let them eat cake. She just has absolutely no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, so this kid was not great, and no one turned around for him.
Yeah, and that was. Oh man!
And I was sad because he was covering a song that I really liked, and he just didn't do a good job.
Yeah, I was so disappointed with that. I was like looking forward to it till I heard the song title, and then nothing.
The next guy, I think they spent 20 minutes of the show on this contestant.
Yeah, they built him up a lot.
I don't know why. Because he was fine. He wasn't stellar. Anyway, his name's Charlie Ray. He's from Long Beach, California. He gave a long, drawn-out story about how his dad works in a garage, and it's not a good living, and he's tried to help his dad by also working in the garage, but it's not a good living, and he wants to make it as a singer, because apparently that is a good living, ?
Right.
But anyway, he's like the singing mechanic or whatever. And he sang Michael Bublé's Home with no real... I did not think that he sang it that great. I gave him a 3.
Yeah, me too. I thought his beginning was rough. He had some really low spots that were probably too low, I thought. And then he kind of improved in the middle, but I was kind of like, I'm kind of stuck.
I think, just based on the 90 seconds that I heard, it sounds like he has... a talent to develop, but it's not developed right now. Like, he needs some professional training and some more attention on specific things, and maybe he could really go somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think right now he's too inexperienced, and spend too much time in the garage, not enough time in open mic.
Yeah.
But Blake and Adam both turned around for him, and then Blake kind of like guilted him into choosing him.
Oh, he had his arms out like he was ready to hug him.
Like he's like, come home, son.
He's like, pick me, you'll win.
And Charlie was like, well, Blake's got his arms out and I can't say no. And I was like, that's not fair.
I was like, go hug him.
So he went with Team Blake, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Next up was Amanda Brown. She introduced herself by way of explaining she has done backup around the world for various people. They had a picture of her singing backup for Adele, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yep.
And she sang Valerie, which I don't know who sang it offhand. English indie rock band. Oh, wait, what?
The Zootons?
This is a new song?
No way. 2006.
My consult behind me is informing me
Amy Winehouse sang it, and it was done on Glee.
that Amy Winehouse sang that song and it was on Glee. I remember it on Glee now that you said something.
It was like her debut. It was amazing.
Okay. Yeah, I watched Glee. Amanda Brown was definitely the right. She picked a good song for herself. I'm not overawed by her talent. I gave her a 3. But
Me too.
within the first 10 seconds, this was another case. I said if she gets picked by anyone, she should be on CeeLo. She should be Team CeeLo.
Yeah.
And right at the end of the song, he turned around.
Yep.
I don't know why he waited so long. I never know why he waits so long. He always waits forever.
Yeah, he never really turns around very early. It's rare.
Which is often probably discouraging to the contestant because they're like, oh, he didn't really want me.
Right.
But he probably wants them just fine. He just, for some reason, he's caught up in his head thinking about birds and cats or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And apparently his bird liked the song too.
Probably. So she defaulted to Team CeeLo, which is fine. I think she'll be a good addition to his team.
So up next was Yolanda Barber. She's from Pittsburgh, PA. PA represent.
Represent.
55-year-old female. Originally started out singing some minor clubs, things like that. Then she moved on to where she got the gig on the cruise ships for a long time until they had to cut people, things like that. And she ended up being a bus driver, which is really sad because she's got a good voice.
Yeah.
Oldest performer in the whole thing is what they told her, and we're sticking with that.
Yeah, as far as we know, 55 is
up
there.
It's up there. And she was very powerful right from the beginning, hit the high notes really well. I thought overall it was a good performance. Just nobody turned around. And that's the moment I said the coaches are getting picky.
Yeah. If I were them and I'm used to hearing these people, all these contestants without looking at them, I wonder if they could tell how old she was.
Yeah, they might have been able to. Because I don't think even if she made it, I don't think she'd win it.
Right.
But compared to some of the other talent we've seen get through, I thought she would at least be better than some. Not all. Not most.
On Monday night's show, when they let Teresa Griffin in, I'm pretty sure that just based on her voice, they might not have guessed she was 42.
Right.
I think when they heard this woman, they instantly knew that she was older, she was experienced. It just you could hear the control of her voice. It was the voice of an experienced singer.
Yeah.
Which, at this point in the game, is probably a bad thing for them.
Right.
So it was beautiful to listen to. I'm sure they really enjoyed her, and they wished they could have given her an opportunity, but they knew that it was not a good pick for their team.
Right.
Which sucks. But
yeah,
that's the way the game works.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. So closing the show was Cassidy Pope, a 23-year-old from West Palm Beach, Florida. And she was, out of this whole week, she was the only 4-chair turnaround.
And she was amazing. She's actually, most people probably don't know this about her. She mentioned that she had a record deal on there. And she was actually in a band called Hey Monday. I only know this because my brother told me, because he actually saw her in concert. So while I'm watching this, and I'm on the edge of my seat, like really close to the TV. It's one of those ones where I'm like leaning there, and listening, and the song's about halfway over, and he walks up, and he comes across, and he goes, isn't that Cassidy Pope? And instead of listening to her, I immediately stopped at her and go, wait, what? He's like, yeah, Cassidy Pope, right? She sings in Hey Monday. I was like, how did you know that? And apparently, he got taken to Warped Tour by my next door neighbor, and she forced him to go. Because he didn't want to go. I remember this from him not wanting to go. And that band sang there, and he remembers her because, as he put it, she's hot. So, of course,
I don't have that in my notes for some reason.
Me neither. But, so, yeah. So, he gave me, way more information than I could have gotten from the show because they just said, oh, I had a record label. I wanted to go solo because the band broke up, and they didn't tell you why. But that's the background behind her, and I thought it was the best performance of the night, if not the best of the week.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. My note on her is this is the kind of contestant I want to see in the final.
Yeah, I immediately I said I want her on my team. Forget the judges. I'll go with solo and win this thing because she was perfect.
She sang "Torn," which I always attribute to Natalie Imbruglia. I'm looking at my wife now. Did you know that this is not by Natalie Imbruglia? It's by a band called Edna Swap that I've never heard of before.
Natalie Imbruglia made it famous.
And she did a killer job with this song. And one of the things that I think you have to mention when you're talking about Cassidy's voice is she's got that undeniable Stevie Nicks kind of vibrato, which is good and bad because there's nothing wrong with Stevie Nicks. She did just fine. But then I also think of South Park and I think of the goat.
Yes.
And I can't get that out of my head no matter how much I do like Stevie Nicks. I'm always picturing a goat when I hear that.
Yeah, it's like, what do you picture when you talk about Snooki? You picture what Snooki looks like from South Park. I picture what Snooki looks like from South Park.
Yeah.
And when Snooki went smush smush and the monster comes out. That's what I think of with that. So that's what I think of when Stevie Nicks is the South Park goat.
So I watched back her audition because this was another one that they all turned around really fast. It took 20 seconds of her singing for Adam, Blake, and Christina to all turn around. 20 seconds.
Wow.
And CeeLo, again, really laid out of the gate. He's like, oh, what's going on, you guys?
Wait, you're all turned around?
So, he's just missing his shot. I really had no idea which way she was going to go. I didn't think that she was going to pick CeeLo, but I was like, Adam, Christina, Blake, I really don't know. And as I was thinking about the quality of her voice, I was like, maybe she would be good with Blake, and then she chose Blake.
Yeah.
I think he could really develop something with her.
Oh yeah, she's going to be
I don't think she's a Christina girl.
No, I didn't think so either.
And now that I have had a chance to look at her Wikipedia page and this Hey Monday thing, she's a punk. She's like a pop punk singer. She's not a Christina girl for sure. I was definitely right. And Alicia wanted her to come out and sing some Paramore, which would have probably fit with what she'd done. Yeah,
I can see that. Good job, Alicia.
Maybe she'll do that. I mean, if she makes it on the show, which I really think she will, we could see her doing that one of these weeks.
That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to every performance she does.
Me too. So if you're watching the show, make sure that you leave some feedback below. We'd love to hear who some of your favorite contestants are.
I want a hug from Christina, too.
We all want hugs from Christina.
Yeah, I tweeted that. I had to.
Make sure that you follow Chris and I on Twitter. We tweet about the show as it's airing. And we'll see you back here for next week's recap.
See you then, guys.
Thanks for listening. There's much more limited availability.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Damn. Hold on a second. Hello.